Hi, this is Ron. Um, and the reason for this video or series of videos that you're going to be looking at, I hope, is that many of you are looking for a job coming out of this terrible time in the country, and lots of people are looking for a new job. And one of the things that they find in the environment that we live in, that they're asking you about particular skills that you may or may not have. And the one that most people don't have, or many people don't have, is having a basic understanding of how to use Microsoft Excel in a business environment. And lots of people are afraid of that. They haven't done any work with that. And I'm here to tell you that it's basically something that's very easy. And if you put your mind to it, you're not going to have any problem doing it. From my perspective, I taught at the university level for many, many years. And a lot of the work that we did in statistics was much easier to do when you used Excel. And because I did that, I was able to put together a number of very basic videos that gives the average person the ability to work through these videos, watch them, practice the exercises that I put in, and in a relatively short period of time, become very proficient with how Excel works. And it puts you in a position when you're putting together your resume or you're applying for a job that you can say, yes, I am proficient at using Excel. Now, the really nice thing about what you're going to be able to get from my videos is they're going to be free. They're going to be on YouTube like this is, and the various skills that you're going to be shown and shown how to use, you're going to be able to pick up without paying anything additional. Um, the possibility exists that I will put together a proficiency test at the end that you can take or not take, depending on whether you feel like you need it. And there might be a small charge for that in order for me to actually go through and grade what you've done. But that would be strictly an optional thing. So without further ado, I'm going to get into now the first of what will be several different videos on the subject that I choose to call Basic Excel for the Non-Math Person. So our goal here is to get you in a position where you can say to prospective employers, to existing employer, just for yourself, that you're an individual who is proficient at using Excel. Excel in the workplace has become a very popular and necessary tool that companies use in all kinds of fashions. And depending on the company, they might make graphs, they might solve problems, do accounting functions. In almost every case, however, in addition to whatever else they might do, they are using Excel to create spreadsheets for evaluating or forecasting different pieces of the business. So there's going to be a series of videos in this section that hopefully is going to help you to do a better job of understanding what Excel is all about. Now recognize I'm doing this on an Apple desktop, a Mac desktop, and assuming that when you're in the workplace, you're going to be using a desktop machine. Now the commands that we'll look at and the things that we're going to be doing will work on a MacBook, which is portable. It'll work on the Mac desktop, and also the same functions will work on a PC-based computer. Recognize that the functions also can be performed using a pad, an iPad Pro, the most popular or one of the new ones that are out. The functions all are going to work for the most part anyways, but the commands really are not going to be the same. If you're interested in improving your skills or actually learning from scratch on functions that you're going to do on your iPad, you ought to close off this video, go into my site, and you'll find that there's a whole bunch of videos that are directed specifically for the iPad Pro. So let's take a look at some really basic stuff. And if you follow the arrow up to the top, you'll see where I'm moving it now, you'll see it says Home. Each one of the things along that top row bring up a different menu. If I clicked on Insert, for example, like I just did, you'll see that the second row of menu items changes. If I said Draw, again, I would get something different. Page Layout, I would get something different again. Now, we could spend days, if you like, in learning all the ins and outs of the functions. But for the purpose of this video, I want to get you up to speed on the stuff that really is used most often. Because if you're able to do those things when you're asked to perform functions in the workplace, you'll be able to do that. If you really develop an interest in Excel and you want to go further, there's going to be other videos that are going to be coming available that'll get into all of the nitty-gritty of all of the different menus that are available. So if you notice now that Home is shown here in green, and in the second row there is a whole bunch of other items. If we skip over to like the third group where it says, where I'm going now, it says Calibri Body. And what that is telling you is that the typeface, or font if you will, is Calibri Body. And the next one over where it says 12 is telling you that the size of the font is 12-point type. So I'm going to highlight all this data that's here just as an illustration. And instead of Calibri Body, I'm going to click the arrow that's alongside of it. And I get a drop-down menu that's going to open up. And for this case, I'm going to switch Calibri Body over to one that I happen to prefer. And it's very similar to Calibri. It's Arial. Used a lot of times in business. You'll see that where it said Calibri Body, it now says Arial. The typeface still says 12. Well, I happen to have over 40 eyes, and maybe you see better than me, but I don't like 12-point type. So next to the 12, I'm going to click that down arrow, and I'm going to change from 12, say, to 20. So when I do that, you're going to see that what I've got is much more readable, at least more readable to me. Underneath where it now says Arial 20, you'll see the capital B. If I click on that, what's highlighted now changed to bold type. That's just an option that you can switch into and out of. The next one, the I, would make it italics. If I clicked on that, we would be looking at italics, which isn't really very much different. Or if I selected the U, which is the third one, you'll notice that all of the stuff that's highlighted is now underlined. So I'm going to get rid of that. Say don't underline. Took that away. I'm going to get rid of the italics, and I'm going to leave the bold in place. So what are you looking at? You're looking at a column of numbers that I just put in here. You'll notice that on the bottom I have 5 things. Calculations that I want to perform. And I'm going to be able to perform those items. And I'm going to demonstrate how I'm going to perform those items in a couple of minutes. But you'll look at what's there. The first one says total. I want the total of all of the numbers in this column. Now I could go through manually and I could highlight each one of these and then put a plus sign in, and then the next one, and the next one, and so on. Even with the small number of figures that are there, it's a pain in the butt. A much easier way for us to do that would be to go to where I've already typed in total. And I'm going to put in a little formula that uses a built-in function in Excel. And to do that, I'm going to start out by saying equals, and I'm going to use the function sum. And I'll start typing the word sum. And as I put in the S and the U, I get this drop-down menu, and the drop-down menu that I'm looking at now is showing you a whole bunch of functions that are already built in, and I'm going to accept sum. That's what I want. So I'm going to click on that. And now that little parentheses, the left parentheses, is Excel's way of asking me which numbers do you want to add up. So I'm going to start with the 124, and I'm going to drag it on the left-hand side so all of the numbers in that column are highlighted. And you can see that it says in the formula there that I've asked Excel to give me the sum of the numbers in C4 through C14. That's really what I want. Just to be complete, I should put in the right parentheses, even though the formula will work without it. So when I'm happy that that's what I want, I select the return key, and it tells me that the sum of all of the numbers in that column is 1603. The next thing that I put there is what is the average? And when they refer to the simple average in Excel, they usually call it the mean. But in order to get it, we're going to need to key in equal, and we're going to start typing average. And as we do that, a drop-down menu opens, and lo and behold, there is average. So I'm going to select that by clicking on it. And again, I'm going to highlight all of the numbers on the left-hand side. From the left-hand side, when I'm happy that they're all highlighted properly, I'm going to close the parentheses. And then I'm going to hit the return key, and it tells me that the average of that data that's there is 145.73. Now, I'm expressing that in 2 decimals. Just as a point of information, if I go in the middle of the screen where it says general, and I'm highlighting there now, underneath that are different ways I might format a cell. I'm going to highlight that 145.73. You'll notice these 2 columns, one with the arrow pointing left, that increases the number of decimals. The one next to it with the arrow pointing to the right decreases it. So let's go to the left first. Every time I click on this, you can see that Excel adds 1 more decimal place. 1 click, I'm now looking at 3 decimal places. 2 clicks, 4. If I want to go backwards, I'm going to click on the one on the right-hand side like I'm doing now. Let's say I only want 1 decimal. Click on it again, and it shows me 1 decimal. This is just information that you're going to end up using later as you start using Excel regularly. The median is the number in the middle. And if you were doing this manually, you'd have to sort the data from smallest to largest, count the number of items, and then go ahead and figure out which is the item in the middle. But using Excel and the power that it gives you, we're going to put in our equal sign and start typing median. Click on median, highlight the data, and when we're happy, now this time I'm going to forget to put in the other parentheses. You really should do that because it's consistent and proper, but if you don't and you just hit the return key, it'll give you the median also. The next 2 items that we're being asked for are variance and standard deviation. Both of those are functions that are built into Excel. So now I'm going to say equals and start typing variance. And again, I get this stuff comes down, variance.p.s.a. For the purpose of this, I would suggest to you that you want to use just plain old variance. The others we'll talk about later if you choose to take more involved training sessions. But let's highlight all of these and close the parentheses, and then we're going to end up with getting an error message because I put the parentheses in the wrong place. And that's okay. I'm going to escape from that, and then the number comes back. I hit the escape, number comes back. Now I'm going to type my formula again, equal VAR. Now I'm going to highlight the data and close the parentheses. And then when I hit enter, I get the variance of 1383.22. For standard deviation, I start typing that at equal STD. STDEV is what I want. I highlight the data again, close the parentheses, and then when I hit the return key, I've got standard deviation. And again, I could change the way that the number is being displayed. It's showing 4 decimals. I could make it 2 if I wanted. I could make all of the items, change all of them at one time. If I highlight all of these and I hit the arrow to move the decimal point, you'll notice that all of them increased. Now if I hit the one to the right and bring it down, I'm now showing all of the numbers there in 2 decimal places. It's a way of being consistent if that's what it is you want to do. So now all we've done here is we have used some of the very basic functions in Excel to do some calculations. And I just wanted to do that for you and with you as a way of getting you started with being familiar with some of the things that you can do in Excel. Now, we did 5 different calculations in this row. We did the sum, we did the average or the mean, the median, the variance, and the standard deviation. Built into Excel is a ton of different functions, and at the end of these videos, I'm going to give you a list of the more popular ones that are in there, the ones that you're most likely to run into in the workplace. If you, in fact, are going to be using Excel while you're at work for either the business you've started on your own or your employer's business. So with that brief introduction, we're going to now actually go in and look at a regular spreadsheet in Excel and perform some calculations that will illustrate how it is that you would be using this in the workplace. You have just watched the first video that's designed to get you familiar with Excel. Once you've seen the series, you're going to be able to add Excel skills to your resume, which is going to be a big help to you if you're looking for a new office position. And you'll have the opportunity, after you view the whole series, to take a brief quiz that can earn you a certificate of completion in Excel. And you're going to get more information on that at the end of the series. Now, this series of videos is different than most of the other stuff that is posted on my channel. That's because it's designed with the thinking that in the workplace, you're not going to be doing the work on an iPad Pro, which is how my other videos are structured, but you are in fact going to be doing work on a desktop or possibly a laptop, but most likely a desktop, either a Mac or a PC based. If you want to take a look at the other training videos on this subject, you can make a note of the website that's shown here, and you could go online and you'll get a list of all of the videos that I've posted. And you'll see that the educational videos on Excel are separate and in a separate group on the website. You also have the opportunity, if you just want to enter your email in the comment section area below, and then I can send you a link that you can click on so you could see all of the posted videos. And it would be great if you would also subscribe to the channel. That way, as new videos are posted, you'll automatically get a copy of them and you'll get them early. Before you leave this video, I would appreciate it if you take a minute or so under comments just to let me know how you're going to be using Excel. Is it going to be for work, for school, general math stuff, home projects, or from whatever? Doing that will help me to improve what is being presented. Any other comments you have about the video would really be appreciated. A thumbs up or down will also help me to improve my videos. Seeing all of these videos on YouTube, by the way, is going to be free to you, so you'll be able to get the expertise that's going to help you in the workplace without having to enroll in something that's going to make a long time commitment and could be a fairly expensive thing to do.